Welcome, Exile. They tried to nerf us, the Poisonous Concoction of Bouncing, but we're performing stronger than ever. Tier 16 map, Pinnacle bosses, the new breach mechanic. We got it all covered. While the new Grafts are making us even more powerful. This is a tier 16 map and I just weasel myself to the boss. Activate your Blood Rage, get your infinite mana with your Silver Flask, and then simply have him die to the poison. I just love Poisonous Concoction. Man, like, can't even die because I'm just so tanky. General map survival, you're simply zooming over it as you have your utility flask and your health flask completely running for you and keeping you topped up. The very good thing is the build was incredibly cheap. We'll go over every single item piece in a bit. And also which Genesis tree crafting options are the best for you as Poisonous Concoction of Bouncing. Now for Act 1 to 10, you do not feel anything about the nerf. You're simply blasting through it. Might it be a breach hand or the city, you can absolutely take it down while leveling, and you should. Because as you're leveling and as you're getting then as much graft blood as possible and body parts, you're already getting all the skill points for your Genesis tree to then, as you hit level 65, 70, you instantly have a 5-link, you instantly have a 6-link, you're having your evasion rating go through the roof because you were so diligent during your campaign playthrough actually doing every single breach that was offered to you, and you can actually clear it because the concoction is so strong. The 1 to 65 we've perfectly broken down for you level by level, act by act, in writing, and also here in the tree with everything to go through in the path of building. Link in the description below. However, we need to talk about the 65 into the endgame jump. And this begins in Act 10. Before you slay Kitava, do not slay Kitava. First thing you're going to do is ascend a third time, because we need that 6th point. The 6th point in Pathfinder is going to give us Nature's Adrenaline, Flask in 3 charges every 3 seconds, Fire for your Life Flask, actually giving you tons of bonus damage. But it actually is needed for the Replica Sorrow of the Divine, the first item you will buy. You want one with a very high duration that costs you 1, 2, 3 Chaos Orbs. You should have them at this point already. The important part about this flask is that it gives you Eldritch Battery. Eldritch Battery says, spend Energy Shield before mana for skill mana cost. Energy Shield protects mana instead of life, and 50% less Energy Shield recharge rate. Now, as you can see, I have 27 mana I can't cast, unless I actually use my Replica of Sorrows, and then, well, as you can see, I'm just literally casting with my Energy Shield. And that will also automatically cast my Chaos Golem, it will use my automation, it's doing this is my mana right now. However, for this to work, we gotta make sure that the Replica of Sorrow is up long enough, and you reclaim enough charges to consistently have it there, or I can't actually cast because, well, I have all these auras activated. And you want all these auras activated because they're going to be damage reduction, we got the bonus elements, we got the evasion rating, and, well, the Herald of Agony, plus that automation giving us even more damage. Soaking. For this, you need to quality up the flask ASAP. Mine is already at 13 seconds, I have 9% to go. However, don't do that right away. Before you quality it up, you want to go to your crafting bench, enter full up here, and put use when charges reach full on it. This means whenever I get my Replica of Sorrows full, it will instantly be used, and then full, and then used, and then full, and then used. As you can see in the gameplay, it is always up, I am always having Eldritch Battery, and I never have to worry about my mana as I can continuously cast. During the campaign, since you're only playing Herald of Agony, and then Grace, and maybe Purity of Elements, you'll get away with having 100 mana roughly. However, we want to have that infinite because you want to actually play your Chaos Golem and other stuff. And with that Silver Flask in tow, we're teleporting to the Rogue Harbor. And you're going to spam contracts like crazy before Kitava to gather around 25 Chaos Orbs. Since a Poisonous Concoction of Bouncing right now costs 19, 25, 25, 25, yeah, you can get it around for 25 Chaos Orbs. Because Poisonous Concoction of Bouncing is where the build then really starts popping off. And for the Poisonous Concoction of Bouncing, you then want to have your 6th link or at least 5-link chest. And that's extremely easy to achieve because you already saved up on your Graft Blood, and then you're going to put points into, yes, I want the burst item to be armor with 1 level higher, and I want it to be 100% be body armor. That body armor has then increased tier rating and item level. Plus, you're going to roll the socket and links 150 times. This more or less guarantees to have a 5 to 6 link. On top, make sure to have the chance for an additional item, chance for an additional item, plus the chance for an additional item, and even more item levels. that you get 2 or 3 out with every single roll. Don't waste your graftlet on unique items at all. Rather, make sure to actually get your good helmet, your good chest, your good boots, your good gloves. And spend it on currency as well, as this will give you the instilling orbs and the flask improve orbs that we need to make them cast on full and increase their quality. Next cheap item you want to get yourself would be the Lepers Alm, which are also a great damage increase because it says 40% increased duration of ailments on enemies. Super good. You can get that shield already for 1 Chaos Orb. Yep, you pretty much reach level 66 and that's it. You get yourself another 1000 evasion rating and your energy shield together then with the sulfur battery, together then with the Eldritch battery from the sulfur flask. It couldn't be easier. 4 chaos, 2 killer items. And since we now got infinite mana, I'm actually going to remove my precision because I got enough accuracy rating, and I'm going to replace the precision through flesh and stone. Flesh and stone gives us another 14% damage reduction. And it doesn't matter that it brings us down to non-existent mana values, because, well, we do have always mana with that silver flask. Same goes for picking up gloves with 3 blue lings and 1 red, because you want to have minion life support together with meat shield, chaos golem, and the cast on damage taken. Normally, we wouldn't have the mana to cast this. It's 165, and we have 27. Hell, even if I deactivate the flesh and stone, I'm sitting barely at... what is that? 100 something. Yeah, I couldn't still not summon it, right? That's 142. Oops. Yeah, no Chaos Golem for me. However, due to the Eldritch Battery, that is possible. And this Chaos Golem will give us Chaos Resistant. It will soak up damage that we would have taken, and it increases our damage over time multiplier. Haha. Don't worry, we'll also talk about which grafts are fantastic for the build. However, let's first go over the other unique items, and that would be your Betrayals Sting, and in this case, I managed to get 2 of those. They are incredibly cheap, however, you want to have one with a high chance to inflict additional poison on the same target when you inflict poison, because it's double poison. In the beginning, you might want to buy them for cheap and then upgrade to better ones with a better chance later on. Keep in mind though that these are going to reduce your elemental resistance by 29%. This gets somewhat offset by the purity of elements, giving you 33% bonus. So one of them is actually being countered by the purity of elements, and it does give you case resistance. Right now, as you can see, I sit at 71, 69, and 5% cold. However, I have this potion to bring my cold up very easily. The resistance game you then have to play with your helmet, chest piece, and also with your boots. Those are going to be your 3 big resistance givers, plus your belt. Because your amulet is going to be the Eternal Struggle, which also goes very cheap for 1 to 2, 3 Chaos Orbs, and increases your global defense by 14%. Pretty useful. And I managed to get one with the intrinsic stat of 21% increased evasion rating. Very good. Would have been great if it got better mana reserve efficiency. However, that bonus evasion rating has me sit now at here 75%. Nifty. I like it. The last item would be the most costly one, and those are your gloves. However, so far we have spent 2, 4, 6, with the amulet 8, and then on the Poisonous Concoction of Bouncing 25. Super cheap. Your Asenath is though a bit more expensive. What do? They curse enemies with temporal chains, slowing them down. Amazing. And enemies killed near corpses affected by your curse explode, dealing bonus damage. Those explosions from the Asenath really good for all the new breach mechanics because you're killing and they're all cursed and they're all slowed down so they all can't choke you. And then you're just literally killing everything. It's very good. The Asenath, however, costs you currently another 17, 18, 19 Chaos Orbs. I was lucky enough to actually find them. Yeah, getting a 4-link Asenath, it's not unaffordable. And due to being an intelligence item, it's quite easy to get it to your triple blue 1 red for the golem support. Now, what about the arms? How are they going to help you? The biggest problem is there's not a single one that does anything for poison. You could get more attack damage, that doesn't do poison. You can get cold damage, fire, whatsoever. Hell, I even have found one with 20% increased armor. Yet though, I've found nothing for actual poison damage. What I am using them for is first and foremost resistance to all elements and to give me some more stats because I needed stats to make everything fit in. This one with the 12 strength right now makes the build actually work because without the 12 strength I would have to craft it onto something as I would be struggling strength wise. However, the real interesting part is the actual spells added. I'm currently playing the Burning Message, which is extremely strong because it pumps out these here on top of all the damage over time I'm doing, and that works nicely together. Also with the Preserving Stillness when I apply exposure. This could be very nice aided by Heart of Flame. It says when you're missing life, this Graft will apply a buff that takes some damage from hits from you before being depleted. When you're struck while this buff is active, the skill will fire a nova of projectiles which explode on impact, and this can eat up another 5,000 damage. Now the stats 20% increased armor and 31 increased fire damage are useless. However, it will eat up tons of damage, and it can store 11,000 Graft Blood, so that's quite useful. With this setup, I feel extremely happy with tier 16 maps, pinnacle bosses, breach mechanic, everything, as mentioned before. Very nice. We're not dying, we're doing damage. It's beautiful. However, there's one last super damage booster. And no, it's not Mage Blood. We don't need that. What you rather want to have is called Tides of Time Vanguard Belt. This belt is quite something because it says 100% increased life recovery from flasks. Then flask supply you have more effect, and we get more life flask charges. Plus, best case scenario, also even more utility flask charges. But what you really want to have is those 3 life flask charges, because that's going to have you really always have them. Always DPS. However, they cost a couple of divines, which would be easy for me because I managed to luck out and find with level 65 a Mirror of Calandria that at any point I could trade for the one or the other Divine Orb. We also had to update the passive tree to make sure that we really get that chance to suppress spell damage all the way to 100%. So we're surviving literally everything. That new and updated skill tree you can find under here with a level 85 marker. It's going to be up to date as you click on it. Let's open this tier 16 map. You'll move over the map by frost blinking, and then you drop your flask in front of their feet, and it's going to be 1, 2, drop. 1, 2, 3, go on. 1, 2, drop. And that's it. We're not just standing there spamming away. They're all going to die due to, well, your poison concoction of bouncing, just bouncing so much. So I'm pretty much just flying over the map. In between, you get to actually use your utility flasks if you did not instill all of them to be cast when full. I did not have the resources for that. And when you have a breach, you just simply go for it and absolutely demolish everything around you with your concoction of bouncing. The interesting part is that you can actually drop them off on walkways. So I know they're coming from the right here. So I'm just going to put all the ones of bouncing there on the walkway. And it just destroys the lads as they're trying to get to you. Like before they can even get remotely to you, they're already been having had. Simple matter of fact. Then we're going to have the things rain from the sky and it's all over. Don't forget to activate Blood Rage though, so you have a little bit more attack speed that you will charge around faster because your shield charge is faster with attack speeds and nothing really has a chance. I absolutely adore the Concoction of Bouncing gameplay fun. And then you get yourself beautiful, amazing loot. What do you say, ladies and gentlemen? Poisonous Concoction of Bouncing, something for you? I'll link you the live stream where we have been absolutely dominating the endgame and also some more tips for this league. Enjoy and take care.